I feel like before the pandemic, people didn't really put a lot of thought into a work from home setup. And that's mainly because not a lot of people had them. But when we all did start working from home, it became evident quite quickly that the built-in mic on our laptop wasn't really going to cut it. And so that's where today's tech comes in. This is the latest from Joby. It's the Wavo Pod USB-C microphone. And today we're going to be putting it head to head against the Rode NT USB Mini to see which one is really worth your money. So, now that you know what's going on, let's just get into it. Well, first things first, because this is a microphone review, I figure it would actually make sense if I use the microphone I'm reviewing, right? So that means I won't be needing this anymore. Okay, now you're actually listening to the sound from the Wavo Pod. I'm not going to process this audio at all, except for maybe a little gain boost, but other than that, you'll be hearing the raw audio. So let's talk about this thing and how it actually compares to the Rode NT USB Mini. You see, on paper, both of these are pretty similar. Both come in at around $100 US. Both are condenser mics with cardioid patterns, although the Wavo Pod can also be switched to omnidirectional, so two people can use it at once. Both mics are powered through USB-C and have a 3.5mm headphone jack for latency-free monitoring. And also both mics come with multiple options for mounting, such as 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, and 5/8 inch. Both mics also have a dial at the front for controlling headphone output volume. The Wavo, however, lets you control input volume using the same dial by just pressing and holding for 2 seconds. You'll see the light switches color to indicate which mode you're in. But one of the major differences between the two is also the most noticeable, and that's the size. The Wavo Pod is about 10 centimeters taller than the Rode NT USB Mini and about 115 grams heavier. You'll also notice that the pop filter comes attached to the Wavo Pod. This is removable and you can add a second one if you're using the omnidirectional mode and have two people speaking, but generally speaking, it's quite cumbersome, especially in comparison to the Rode's integrated pop filter. The Wavo Pod does make interesting use of the real estate though, by including multiple mounting points on either side of the swivel bracket. This means you can connect all sorts of accessories that best suit the activity you're doing. So you could connect your phone to the mic and put a script up if you're doing voiceover work, or you can attach an LED light if you're using it for streaming. So both are very similar in both price, physical qualities, and features. But there is one thing the Rode has over the Wavo Pod, and that's the Rode Connect software. And I'm actually going to get my friend John in here to talk about that a little bit more.
While I really like the Rode NT USB Mini, there's a couple things that I didn't like about it. One is the whole point of it is to be portable and small, which I love, but it has kind of a goofy system for actually being mounted on a stand or a swing arm like I have at home versus being on a desktop mode with a little tiny pedestal, and it has this little rubber gasket you have to put in there. You have to take this other piece out. I would have preferred just a simple screw mount that I could just not have to worry about that stuff, because the other problem is when I break it apart, put it in my bag, it's just two separate things. It's got a magnet on the bottom, so it is easy to stick on stuff, but honestly, I never really use it for that purpose. And I also found the software just a little confusing to set up the first few times actually, and understanding, I think they could have done a better way of explaining what the different modes are. So you have this notion of a virtual system, your system audio, and then of course the microphone audio. But the software really makes that particular device shine because it does add all of the audio effects processing to your voice. So you turn that on, everything else just disappears, and it's great for that purpose, but getting to that point can be tricky. Repeatedly doing the same setup each week, like we do on our radio show, can be challenging sometimes. If I have to go in and reconfigure all the microphone settings again, it doesn't always remember, and I know my co-host Mike has problems with it almost every week on Windows. I'm using a Mac with mine, and it's better, but still not perfect. So I wish that was a little bit better.
Overall though, both mics feel really, really good. They have a very satisfying weight to them and a really solid construction. But that's enough about their physical qualities. Let's hear how both sound in comparison. Okay, so now you're listening to the NT USB Mini, and this again is the totally raw source. This isn't going through the Rode Connect software yet, and I'm not going to do any sort of post-processing on this except for maybe a little bit of gain adjustment, but that's it. So essentially what we're going to do is compare this to the internal mic on my MacBook, obviously the Joby again, an affordable Amazon Basics USB microphone. So now that you know what's going on, let's try it out. So for the purpose of this test, I'm going to be reading out a little bit of Irish poetry for each of these. The mic is around 1.5 feet from my face, so let's just get started. This is The Workman's Friend by Flann O'Brien. When things go wrong and will not come right, though you do the best you can, when life looks black as the hour of night, a pint of plain is your only man. When money's tight and hard to get and your horse has also ran, when all you have is a heap of debt, a pint of plain is your only man. When health is bad and your heart feels strange and your face is pale and wan, when doctors say you need a change, a pint of plain is your only man. When food is scarce and your larder bare and no rashers grease your pan, when hunger grows as your meals are rare, a pint of plain is your only man. In time of trouble and lousy strife, you have still got a darling plan. You still can turn to a brighter life. A pint of plain is your only man. And there we have it. You've heard the results, so what do you think? Both of these mics are extremely capable for whatever task you need them to take on. So really, it just comes down to what you need and what you're going to be using them for. If you need one or multiple for podcasting and something small you can break down for travel, the Rode NT USB Mini might be the one for you. Whereas if you need a sort of one-stop shop for Zoom calls, live streaming, general audio recording, and something to just live on your desk, then the Joby Wavo Pod is a really interesting participant in this space. So which one do you think sounded the best? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below and let us know if it's worth getting either mic. Hey, maybe you even know a better solution. And if you like this video, why not check out the one that we did right here? My name is Robin. Thank you for checking out this video and consider subscribing.